Greetings, everyone. I am Pete Pardo from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode and pick number 19 of my 31 favorite album blind buys of all time. I'm here with the Creature today. We've been talking about those albums that we saw in the record store, in a CD shop, at a festival, yard sale, flea market, whatever. We saw an album cover. We were like, wow, look at that. I maybe know not who that is, that band, that artist, but that album cover looks awesome. I think I'm going to take a chance on that and bring it home and see what happens, right? Maybe you'd heard of the band, maybe someone recommended them to you, but you'd never listened to a lick of their music. And you were like, all right, I'm going to take a chance. That was indeed the case with this particular one, which I bought brand new when it first came out. I saw it in the end caps, right? Remember the old record store, the end caps, right? You had the new releases. And this had come out on EMI Records, March 8th, 1982. I was, of course, young 16-year-old, always searching for new metal bands and new hard rock bands. I happened to see this, and I figured this looks pretty metal. It's got a totally wild album cover. The album was recorded at Villa Saint-Pécaire in Saint-Jacques, France, as well as Dirk Studios in West Germany, produced by Dieter Dirks for Harvest EMI Records. I'm talking about the 8th studio album by the German band known as the Scorpions, Blackout. I always thought that the CD that I have here, this is kind of like a reissue, right? It doesn't really capture the full color and just amazingness of what that original vinyl that I bought. I remember that was just striking, and just like seeing that sitting there at that end cap, and I was like, I have to have that. I'm not really sure who the Scorpions band is, and buying this, and then literally immediately after I bought this, started hearing No One Like You on the radio, because they released that right around the same time. Yeah, I believe it came out literally a week or so, or maybe right as soon as the album was available, something like that. WPDH 101.5 in Poughkeepsie started playing No One Like You, and I was like, oh, yeah, awesome stuff. And I brought this home, and I was pleasantly surprised, and all of a sudden I had a new hard rock / metal band to kind of dive into. And I started scooping up Scorpions albums left and right after this. So, of course, we've got Klaus Meine on lead vocals, Rudolf Schenker, rhythm guitars, backing vocals, plays lead on a couple tracks as well. Matthias Jabs on lead guitar and rhythm guitar, Francis Buchholz on bass, and Herman Z. German Rarebell on drums, along with Don Dokken helping out a little bit on backing vocals here and there. I'm not quite sure exactly which songs he does that on. But yeah, some classic songs on here. Right? This, again, my first experience with the Scorpions, and I became such an instant fan. I was pleasantly surprised that literally a month or two later, they announced that they were playing a show with Rainbow at Madison Square Garden, with the Scorpions opening up for Rainbow headlining, because Rainbow were out on they had just released the Straight Between the Eyes album. And I remember thinking, because I was already a Rainbow fan by that point, and thinking, oh, I need to go see this show. And it turns out that it became one of my favorite concerts for many, many years. You probably heard me talk on the channel about how that concert was for decades my favorite show. Just so memorable, because the Scorpions came out and they killed. And then Rainbow came out, and they were really good too. And they had the big light show with the gigantic eyes and the lasers and shit. So it was just probably, really, if you think about it, Scorpions probably stole the show based on just how frenetic and how they were just a juggernaut up there. I kind of compare the Scorpions opening slot on this tour to Metallica opening for Ozzy. Just a couple short years later, and you had an opening band that literally almost upstaged the headliner, and they were just so good. This up and coming band, even though the Scorpions had been around for a long time, but here in the States, Scorpions had made no impact whatsoever really until this album. this became a big selling album for them, and thinking just, and I was a huge Blackmore fan, so of course, I loved the Rainbow set, but I think, looking back all these years, I think the Scorpions just really stole the day, or stole the night there at the Garden all the way back then in July of 1982. So, but back to this album, lots of great stuff on here. The opening barrage that is Blackout, the title track, is just so good. You got catchy stuff like Can't Live Without You, No One Like You is a great song. Very radio friendly, lots of guitar fireworks on there. Give Me All I Need, another great kind of like anthem. Now is Fast and Furious. Scorpions did a lot of this stuff right around this time. You got Dynamite, just absolutely terrific. Arizona, China White, When the Smoke is Going Down, more kind of ballady song to finish off the album. And the album is, about 36 minutes and change. Not too short, not too long, kind of perfect. But yeah, some great songs on here. Dynamite's just a terrific track. So good. I what's funny is I was just so into this, right? And then of course, I believe the next album I got, I went out and bought Tokyo Tapes. And that just like totally like opened me up to the world of Uli. Ulrich Roth called at the time, but Uli John Roth, right? And then I went out immediately and got like Virgin Killer and In Trance and, Fly to the Rainbow and Taken by Force. And then I eventually went and got Love Drive and, the one that comes after Love Drive and before this, I'm drawing a complete blank. Animal Magnetism, that's it. So got those. And then, not too long afterwards, you had the next album, Love at First Sting, coming out. And that, Scorpions were one of my favorite bands at the time. Really, really were. But I think that I, once after kind of Love at First Sting, because I still got a bunch of the next couple albums, but I started to really lean more heavily towards the Roth era. That became really my de facto favorite era of the Scorpions, and even still to this day, I prefer those Uli albums over a lot of these, even though Blackout is very, very special to me because this was my first ever Scorpions album. But yeah, I remember just seeing that album cover and I was like, there's no way I'm not bringing that home. Look at that bit of awesomeness right there, right? So, and yeah, like I mentioned, this was a big selling album for them. This made it to number 10 here in the States, and it also sold 1 million copies here in the States. It was platinum here in the States, platinum in Canada, gold in France and Mexico. Don't believe it did much of anything in the UK, although it did make it to number 11 in the UK. So that's pretty good. But yeah, that was my blind buy. March of 1982, Scorpions, Blackout. Let us know what you think of this album. Did you buy this blind, or were you already a Scorpions fan when you happened to pick this album up? But let's hear your pick for today and your story for today, and we'll see you tomorrow for yet another one. Till then, visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also, down below, we got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, our Cameo page, and the Sea of Tranquility membership options. They're all down below. Thanks for all your support, folks. It's greatly appreciated, and we'll see you soon here with more stuff. How soon, you might be asking? Well, in less than an hour. Ranking the albums of Agent Steel. I got Rich Catino in tow with me. We're going to rank those 6 Agent Steel albums. Really cool catalog. Stay tuned for that, for all the gory details. And till then, I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching. See you all real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.